Hi, I'm Colleen, and I need to say this loud and clear. Women have been left behind in healthcare for over 20 years, and it's time to change that. Just days ago, the FDA held an expert panel on menopause and hormone therapy. And for those of us who have been living it, fighting for answers, and advocating for change, this moment matters. Because this is no longer about silence and suffering. This is a new day, a day of hope, a day of action, and I'm here to help lead the shift.
When there was a women's health initiative that was in fact published at the time, based on studies done on a control group of women where the average age was 63, Hal. Now when they're prescribing HRT, it's for a lot of women that are 50 years of age and or younger than that, in the late 40s, for instance, if they're going through perimenopause and then into menopause. Also, they're looking at those studies and saying, listen, the risk of breast cancer from hormone replacement therapy was completely overblown. So now that we're prescribing estrogen, for instance, and these women are getting this medication, on this medication, it has that black box, that warning, women are still scared because they're afraid that we are not disclosing to them the risks of taking, for instance, hormone replacement therapy, when in fact, those risks no longer exist. And in fact, as they talked about the FDA hearing today, the benefits outweigh the risks. We're talking about benefits of, for instance, not developing dementia, Alzheimer's, a lack of bone loss, and then to boot, it's getting rid of all of those kind of horrible symptoms that you develop when you go through menopause, which are hot flashes, for instance, poor sleeping, brain fog as well. So
the reason I'm so passionate about this, the reason I made this my mission, is because I went through it myself. There were days I didn't know how I was going to get out of bed. Not just from physical fatigue, but because I didn't recognize myself anymore. My joy, my strength, my energy, it all felt like it was fading. But deep down, I knew something wasn't just aging. Even though allopathic medicine didn't have clear answers for me, I didn't give up on myself. I started researching. I started learning. I looked into everything I could to support my body and my mind. And piece by piece, I found options that worked. That journey became a business plan. And I brought it to my corporate company with a vision. A facility that was focused on hormone balance and holistic wellness for women. And we opened it. And I watched. I watched women walk through the door feeling defeated and walked out with their spark back a couple of months later. We changed lives, mine included. Eventually, the company went another direction, but the doctors I worked with, my colleagues, the ones who saw what was happening every day, they begged me, Colleen, you have to keep spreading this information. You have to get this information out. And I made that promise to them and to every woman out there who feels like I once did. You will not be left behind anymore. Please listen while Dr. Marty McCary, the FDA commissioner, explains the profound effect that estrogen has on women's health and cardiac health at the Conference for Menopause and Hormones.
1950s, researchers at the Mayo Clinic looked at women who had their ovaries removed, and they noticed that they all went on to have early heart disease, including one woman who had a fatal heart attack at age 28, suggesting a powerful and profound cardioprotective effect of estrogen made in the ovaries. Other studies went on subsequently to show that when a woman starts estrogen or estrogen plus progesterone within 10 years of the onset of menopause, there is somewhere between roughly a 25 and 50% reduction in fatal heart attacks and cardiovascular disease. Now, just to put that in context, that is comparable to the risk reduction or greater than the risk reduction of a statin. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in women. And a 2015 Finnish study found that when women taking HRT stopped taking the hormone replacement, the risk of a fatal heart attack went up by 26% within that 1 year that they stopped taking it.
For 2 decades, we've been told to sit down, be quiet, and wait it out. Since 2002, when flawed studies scared people away from estrogen, menopause education came to a halt. Doctors weren't trained. Women weren't told the truth. And lives were lost because of it. Please listen while Dr. Mary Jane Minkin speaks about the lack of education in menopause and hormonal therapy.
That I'd like to talk about is education, because we have a lot of women, we have millions and millions of women out there, and we don't have enough practitioners to take care of them. And unfortunately, we don't have practitioners who know anything about menopause. And so I'm going to start talking about the lovely day, July 9th, 2002, that none of us remember, the day that the music died, and that all of our patients threw their estrogen, as Dr. Macri says, into the toilet, which is a line I use regularly. And what happened is not only did our patients stop using estrogen, but the other thing that happened is they stopped learning about estrogen. Menopause education stopped on July 9th, 2002. And I have proof of this, okay? The other thing that was going on, besides the fact that women were told they were all going to get breast cancer and die if they continued to use their estrogen therapy, was the fact that we were in residency programs faced with a dilemma. We were telling our residents they were working too hard. Now, I may debate that, but anyway, but the key thing is that residency hours were being cut. So they were being cut from 120 hours a week down to 80. So you can't not train an OBGYN to do a delivery, to do some prenatal care, to do a hysterectomy. Hey, if women are going to think that estrogen is going to make them die, why bother teaching them about menopause? So menopause education got cut too. That died that day also.
The FDA panel was just the beginning of what I believe to be a global awakening. We have the science. We have the tools. We have the truth. And more importantly, we have each other. I'm not here to share statistics. I'm here to share what's possible. Because now, I feel vibrant. I feel alive. And I want you to feel that way too. This isn't about reversing age. It's about redefining it. 50 is the new 35, baby, and it's our turn. So if you felt dismissed, confused, or invisible, this space is for you. This channel is your resource. I'll be breaking down the real facts, debunking the myths, and giving you the tools to reclaim your vitality. Because this is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your vital shift. Subscribe, share this with women you love, and let's rise together. Because we care, we matter, and we're not done yet. We don't fight age, we redefine it.